So we'll continue with our next sessions for the Python for Beginners course. So today we will learn control structures. So under control structures, we'll look at conditional statements and loops. The reason they are called control structures because they control the execution of your program. Let's do some hands-on and understand what we're trying to say here. So let's or before that, let's actually understand a little bit of the control state theory of the conditional statements. So conditional statements allow you to make decisions in your code. They execute different blocks of code based on specified condition. And the conditional statements that you use are like if, elif, else if, right? And else keywords. Let us take a look at the code and understand it better. So let's say we need to classify a group of people into adult and non-adults. Anyone whose age is more than 18 years is an adult, rest are not adult, right? So for that, we are creating a function, Python function. Now to create a Python function, we always start with the keyword called def. Then we give the name of the function. Here the name of the function is determine adult or not. And we are passing a parameter to the function, which is age. And based on this age, we'll decide whether somebody is adult or not, right? So this is how we define the function, right? Don't worry about this right now. We'll come to this later on. So now let me actually comment this out for now. So this is the function that we have created that determines whether a person is adult or not based on the age, right? How do we run it? So as we earlier saw, so what we'll do is, so if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to main. So we saw this earlier that whenever we run a Python script standalone, the name of the module is defaulted to underscore underscore main underscore underscore, right? So this becomes our entry point for the this script. And let's uncomment this. So in this line of code, and we have seen this in our previous session as well, we are taking the input from user. We are taking the age from the user. The user will enter the age, the value of which will be stored in the age variable. And this is what we are now passing to the determine adult or not function. See, I have typecasted it to int because when you take the age, right, it will be string. So we are typecasting to int age, and then we are doing the conditional check, right? So let's run it. Let's say 18. You are not an adult because only if it is greater than 18, it is an adult. 19, or let's say 20, you are adult, right? So this is how if else is used. Now, when we use elif, when we have multiple conditions to check, and for that we will to demonstrate that part, right, we'll create another function. And in this function, what we'll do is we'll create a function named determine student grade, but here we'll give the parameter as marks, because based on the marks we'll determine if the grade is A, B, or C. So if the marks obtained is less than 70, then the grade is C. If it is between 70 and 80, grade is B, else the grade is A, right? And at the end, we are printing the student's marks and the grade. We have already seen in our previous session what a formatted string is. So this is an F string, right, that we have used. And now what we'll do is comment this, uncomment this out, right, where we are checking for marks 60, 80, and 95, what grades we get, right? So let me run this. So you obtained 60, which gives you a grade C, 80 gives B, and 95 gives A, right? And this is done through this piece of code, else if, as we mentioned, if there are multiple conditions to check, right? So now going back to our PPT. So we looked at conditional statements. Now let's talk about loops. So loops allow you to repeat a block of code multiple times, and common types in Python are for loop, for and while loops. So let's take a look at an example of how to do a for loop, right? So for that, let's create another function. Let's say we say def print items in a list. And what we'll do is we'll pass the item list here, right? So lists are right, where it will, so list is where you put a list of items, right? And we'll see how to define a list. Now, item list, in this item list, we'll have many items, right? So I'll say for item in item list print item. Okay, so this is what is so this is where we are looping through the item list, right? And for each item, we are printing the item, right? Let's see how we can code it now. So here we'll first define the item list. So item list, let's say it's a list of fruits, right? I'll say apple, banana, and let's say pears, right? So now if I call this function, pass the item list, right? So the item list will pass here, and for each item, these are the items, it will print the item name. Let's say this apple, banana, pears. So this is where a for loop is used. Now I can also let me show you another another example of for loop. Let's say print numbers from 1 to 10. Here I'll not pass any parameter, because what we'll do is we'll see a new keyword in Python. We'll say for I in range 10, print I. Let's run it and then we'll see what this means. So print numbers. Okay. So actually it should be 0, 1 to 0 to 9, because the range starts from, so when I say range 10, right, it creates a list of numbers from 0 to 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So for I in this print I, oops, right? So when I run this, let me. So when I run this, from 0 to 9, it prints it, right? So this is a keyword in range, right? I can use it like whenever I want to run a loop for a number of times, right? So this is how the for works. Now while loop, right? Let's take a look at the while. Okay, so let's say we'll create another function called def. We'll say count till, I'm thinking of using a more better example. So let's do this. Okay. Get user input, right? Get user input. What we'll do is we'll say while true, right? And we'll take the input, right, from the user. User input equal to input, enter your input, right? And then I'll give a new line character and print the user input, right? So here it will go into an infinite loop because it will always true. It will always be true because we are not making the flag as false, right? So while true, it will continue in a infinite loop. To break the loop, we'll say if user input dot, let's say lower, like whatever the user input is, convert into a lower case, is equal to exit, break out of the loop. I wanted to show the use of break also here, right? So while true, user input, right? Print the user input, but if the user input is exit, then break out of it. Let's run it. So here we'll say get user input. So we'll say hello. It will print hello. Rajiv. It will print Rajiv. Now I want to break out of it. I'll say exit. So exited out of it. So this is how you can use while loops. And then, okay. So loop in a loop, right? We'll use this. So let's say, and for this, I'll not create any function. We'll just directly do it under main. We'll say, we'll take this only, matrix equal to, let's say I have a list. Within that list, I have 3 lists of number, right? So 1, 2, 3, another list 4, 5, 6, and another list 7, 8, 9. Now what I'll do, now there is the outer list which has, let's say 3 items. Each item is again a list which is 3 items within that, right? So I'll say for item in matrix, right? When I say item in matrix, I'm getting each of these items, right? For each of the item in the matrix, then for numbers, for number in item, right? So these are numbers 1, 2, 3, right? I just used a variable. We can use any variable. So first I'm saying for each item in the matrix, for each item is this is 1 item, second item, 3 item, third item, each item. Then for each number in the item, right? This is item, print the number, right? This is loop within a loop. Let's see how it works. So see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What it did is first it took this, then it went into this loop, print 1, 2, 3, came back, took this, right? And that's how it is giving me all the numbers. So this is loop. The last thing that I wanted to talk about today is a list comprehension. List comprehension is a concise way of creating a list, right? For example, here I said squared numbers equal to x to the power 2 for x in range 1 to 6, right? It will create a list. Let's see that, right? So let me comment this out. We are now looking at list comprehension. List comprehension is a way like to create list in a concise way. So the list name is squared numbers equal to list, right? This is how we create a list, right? Within that, I'm saying x to the power 2 for x in range 1 to 6, right? 1 to 6 should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it will be 1, 4, 9. So let's see, right? So print squared numbers. So 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So 1 to 6. So it is exclusive of the last number. So 1, square of 1 is 1. Next number here is 2. Square of 2 is 4. Square of 3 is 9. Square of 4 is 16. Square of 5 is 25, right? So I'm creating x square for x in range and creating a list out of it, right? This is a concise way of creating list. This is called list comprehension. So we'll call it a day here, and then in our next class we will learn about so we'll start with some Python libraries and modules, and then we briefly looked at how to create function and modules. We will do a little more on the functions and modules in our next class. Thank you. I'll see you again in our next session. Bye-bye.